Nation, what's good? What's good? Well, we have good news for the Raiders. We will get into that, of course, right off the bat. Also, has to do with the cap space, free agency. There's a lot of guys on the list that we would like to see back in the silver and black. At least I would like to see back in the silver and black. I don't know about y'all, but there's a couple names, that we probably definitely need to bring back. But with the cap space and the amount of players and the price for players, good lord. Raffleson, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up. Rick, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you pulling up in the building. So, um, yeah. So the huge news is, oh shit, hold on, I'm getting a phone call. I gotta take. Sorry, I apologize, but so yeah, the huge news is there are rumors and talks of the salary cap going up even more next year and the year after and the year after that. So, with that being said, some of these guys that are due contracts are, some of these big name free agents we could possibly, bring in and stretch the contract, sign them to a 4-year deal, push most of it to the back end, you know, guaranteed money and shit like that. Raider Ryan, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up. So let me know what y'all think about that. New England Raider Booster, what's good? What's good? Appreciate you. Shit, if you want to pull up, man, I can drop a link. I don't know if you got time, but yeah. So crazy talk in the last couple of days. Malcolm Kuntz ranging at $20 million. I've watched videos. I've heard all the talk. People saying they ain't paying them that. That's a crazy amount of money, right? And if you franchise tag him, it's what the franchise tag is, what, 23 million, something crazy for defensive ends, even more for linebackers. So, man, with the franchise tag, there's really nobody that I see on the roster that, is is due that amount of money. Maybe Trayvon Moreg, depending on, where the Raiders see him. But again, if we can bring in these guys, that are Raiders, that were drafted Raiders, that are homegrown talent, as they say, it would be huge for us, especially the guys on the defensive side, going into their fourth year in Patrick Graham's system. There's a lot of guys that, 4 years in the system, you get to know it like the back of your hand. And I don't know if he's going to run the same system with Pete Carroll being in the building. They might switch it up, maybe run a lot more cover three. We know that's more Pete Carroll styles running cover three, but let me know what y'all think. Let me get into this chat real quick. Shout out everybody. Billy D, appreciate you. Robert Pena, what's good? What's good? Raph in the building. Y'all check out his channel. Raider Ryan, as always. New England Raider Booster. Of course, y'all already know. Um, Here in Vegas with the wifey, getting ready for a tour of the stadium. Raiders. Right on, man. Send me pics to my email. Yeah, it's a crazy ass tour. What's the weather out there in Vegas? Is it cold? Because man, sometimes in the wintertime, you wouldn't think in the desert it gets cold, but it could be brisk as hell. Um, all right, let me pull this up real quick. So, what is this? Free agent space. Where am I at? Spot track. So man, spot track, I don't think they're really on. They got Spillane. I don't know if this is what he's getting now or projected, but 3.5 mil. Kaylavon Chasen, just under that at 3.3 mil. I mean, I could see all those. Definitely being brought back. Spillane, um, Marcus Epps. I don't know how they feel about that with Palomao, and we also don't know how other teams, feel about Palomao. He definitely has progressed, every year when he had to step in the starting role when Epps got hurt. The man did a damn good job. So his price could be up. There's a lot of teams that need defensive players, and we have a lot of good defense, solid defensive players on this roster that are free agents, like 17 unrestricted free agents, 26, 27 in total. Hawaiian Candy, what's good? I've seen people breaking down, and I was going to break it down too. We can do that later on if y'all want, but I don't know how long I'm going to be on. I'll probably be on later on tonight. Um, we got a bunch of snow. That's why it is so bright in here. I don't know if y'all can see the background, but man, um, hope you're having a good day, Rebel. Appreciate y'all. Not a good day with you over there in Hawaii. What is the temperature in Hawaii? 70s? Because it is 9 degrees right now, and it is supposed to be -6 or 8 tonight. So very, very cold. Why I'm wearing a hoodie, why I'm wearing why I'm wearing a beanie. It is freezing out here. Dang, where's everybody at? So yeah, Marcus Epps, a lot of people say they're gonna let walk, but he was a key part to this defense. He knows the system. How much does that matter? And also coming off the, season ending injury, he might be a lot cheaper than a Trayvon Moreg, even than a Nate Hobbs. So, a lot of people haven't been talking about Marcus Epps. He was, the leader of that backfield. And I think, our passing game definitely struggled, gave up way more yards with him out of the lineup, even with Palomao in there. So it's just, something to look at, something to think about. He was a big part of this team. You hear, Patrick Graham, who's been brought back, constantly talk about Marcus Epps and, what he meant to the team when they were playing, when they were having, that dominant season after Antonio Pierce, took over as head coach. So Marcus Epps was a big part of this defense, and at 6 million, I don't think that's going to be his price range coming off a season-ending injury. So I think his money might be a little bit lower, and maybe the Raiders, you know, can't match Trayvon Moore. We don't know, what the market is going to bring for him. I say let the market on most of these guys, let the market predict where they're going to get, especially with Robert Spillane being second in tackles in the, as a linebacker, third overall in tackles in the NFL, was top 5 in pretty much every category you can think of. I mean, that's huge. And a lot of teams are going to see that. And, there's many teams like the Bills, like the Bengals, that could definitely use a Robert Spillane in their lineup. Now, I know he wants to be a Raider. We all know he wants to be a Raider. Most a Raider, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up. Um, but money talks, you got a baby on the way. You just had one. What is he? Sorry, let me get to his age. Robert Spillane at 29. You might want to get that bag now, right? I mean, if you have a possibility of getting that bag now, and some team's gonna, offer you that money that might need your services, like I said, like a Buffalo Bills, like a Bengals, like I mean, I think the Redskins are pretty much set at linebacker position, but it wouldn't hurt to have, wouldn't hurt to have a Robert Spillane in your lineup. So absolutely, literally gone. But can you say that for certain? Pigs, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up. Um, yeah, I could see Spillane signing with a team like the Bills or the Bengals or, you know, even the Chicago Bears. Like he fits that, you know, that kind of cold weather, hard hat mentality that a lot of these teams that are, right there, just lacking on the defensive side, could be looking for some Raiders. I mean, Trayvon Morig had a breakout year, which a lot of people could say, of course, it was the contract year. But I don't think that was it. I think he had, more responsibilities with Epps being hurt. And I thought they used him a lot better this year than they have in years past. They put him in the box a lot more. They let him blitz a little bit more, a lot more than he has usually. So I think it shined for Morig, in my opinion. And I think it brought him to light for a lot of teams, that seen this defense with the problems we've had and with the injuries we had and still come out there and fight every single game. So I feel like there's a lot more guys that people are, thinking that are going to come back that we could possibly lose. And again, I've seen everybody doing here. Let me pull this shit up. So I've seen everybody doing this here. Off-season free agent manager, right? They say if you restructure Max Crosby's contract, we save 16 mil, which a lot of people are doing. Saving, making the cap go up, obviously. I just don't know if that's going to be possible. I definitely could see, get this thing straight. I could definitely see moving on from a Gardner Minshew. Um, Colton Miller is another. I mean, damn, 12 million cap space, 3 million in dead cap, 15 million cap hit. If we bring in a rookie or we pay top dollar for a high price free agent quarterback, which I just don't see us doing. I'll get to that later. We'll break that down. But if we do go that route and say bring in a Sam Darnold for $45 million a year, which is it's just mind boggling that people would even want that. But if we do decide to go that route, I could definitely see us maybe moving on from a Colton Miller and bringing in one of these big name um, left tackles. Because let's be honest, Colton Miller, he had good games last year. He was coming off an injury, but he had one of the worst years of his career, in my opinion. He struggled a lot. He was constantly getting beat by guys like a Malcolm Kuntz style that have that bend, that have that quick step that can blow by you, that can fake outside and come inside with the swim moves, strong hands. He got worked by a lot of those guys. So we don't know, as Raider fans, of course we want Colton Miller to be back, right? Of course we want um Trayvon Morig, Robert Spillane, well, not Robert Spillane, he's only been there a year or two, but the guys that have been, homegrown talent, we want these guys to come back. And I don't see too many guys on the market that are better than a Nate Hobbs that will know the system, that has the time in the system that he has. Yes, you could talk about injuries, but you know, people say injury prone shit. Guys are injury prone because they get hurt a lot. To me, I look at that totally different. I view injuries totally different, especially the guys that are, getting hurt like Max Crosby did in the pile, having guys roll up on you. If you're going 110% and you're getting hurt because of that reason, that's not injury prone. That's just, overdoing it, in my opinion, or going hard. And I don't see nothing wrong with guys, giving it their all. And some you can't control what happens in a pile. You can't control, guys rolling up on the back of your leg or shit like that. And the only way you can control that is to make business decisions, as Antonio Pierce would say, and not be in those piles, right? Be away from those piles, not be that guy diving in, when a guy's held up trying to make that tackle. We've seen, I've seen on tape plenty of guys doing that, not just on, on a lot of teams where, you know, these big name guys, they're not in those piles trying to bang on every single down or every single play. So to me, Nate Hobbs is one of those guys. He's just always around the football, and injuries happen. I think the last injury with his hand or whatever was a helmet got smashed in trying to make a tackle. So I don't knock shit like that, but people say, "Oh, that guy got hurt. He's injury prone. He's injury prone." But for quarterbacks and receivers, it's a different story. But for defensive guys, like if you're getting hurt in there, smash mouth playing smash mouth football and going all out, that's fine. But if you're getting hurt, non-contact plays and shit like that, then that's injury prone. My opinion, just my opinion. Why can't I get this on both screens? Hold up, give me a second. This is tripping. All right, that's better. What's the chat say? Nothing? Y'all ain't got nothing to say? Man. So Cal in the building. What's good? Appreciate you pulling up, man. So yeah, so Tyree Wilson. This is my thing on Tyree Wilson, man. He's making way too much money, bro. He's making way too much money. Yeah, he had a decent year, from past years, I guess. But did he have a decent year for a seventh overall pick? And I mean, sometimes you just got to say you were wrong. It was a wrong pick and move on from a player. And I'm not saying we should or shouldn't move on. That's not my call. But when you look at his salary and you look at the production, I just don't see how you can continue to say, you know, maybe he'll break out next year. Maybe he'll break out next year. Is his breakout ever going to be worth what he's getting paid and what he's been getting paid? I mean, come on. You got Nate Hobbs not even making $1 million, bro. He's not even making a mil, no M in his contract. And that dude's out there balling, banging every single play. Um, you had Trayvon. Of course, these guys were under, rookie contracts and shit, but still, you had Trayvon playing for 1.8 mil, less than $2 million, and that dude played 98% of our snaps. You know what Max Crosby's making for playing, 96% of the snaps? Like, so to me, it's mind boggling. You bring in a guy like Chase on for what they brought him in for, what, 1.4 mil or something. That's more than half of the guys that were playing 97, 98% of our snaps on the roster, which is crazy to me. Hobbs is nice, but reality, we need solid depth at slot if we bring him back. And I agree with that 100%. Like, I think when it comes to, being in the slot and covering, it's not his best. It's not his best. He's more of that down in the box, blitz, stop the run, type guy. And again, I think we use him in the wrong way. To me, if you were going to make a guy like, I mean, and I guess Nate Hobbs is probably not big enough, but if you look at linebackers now, most of those guys, are 220 pounds, 230 pounds. They're not as big as they used to be. They're going, faster, smaller guys that can get underneath these tackles, get past these tackles that are 6'7", 6'8". And I think not, Hobbs would be better, way better at a linebacker position. He just plays that, physical role. And then you'd have him, guarding tight ends instead of trying to cover slot receivers. And there are definitely a lot better cover guys, but I feel with the roster we have, Isaiah Palmau, if you leave him where he's at, you know, if you can bring, Trey Taylor had a year of sitting. Yes, he was hurt, but he was still, on the team in the weight room, I believe, most of the time after the injury. So, you know, we don't know what we have in Trey Taylor. You could bring him in and put Trayvon Morig in Nate Hobbs' spot, which to me, I think would be a lot better position for him just because of his speed, his cover ability. But we've seen in games too where, Trayvon just not having the strength to tackle these big running backs or big tight ends. So, I mean, let me know in the comments who's out there. Who do you replace if we decide to move on from Nate Hobbs? Who to replace him? I mean, for his price, for what he's making, I think personally that, and I know it's just a personal side, not a business side, but man, if you have a guy playing for, under $1 million that's produced in your lineup over and over and over again, I just don't see guys like Spytek who, I mean, look at the look at what he did in Tampa, constantly keeping homegrown talent. Um, Look at Pete Carroll's record, track record, constantly keeping guys in their system. Guys have been in Seattle that were drafted there, are still there from when he was drafted in the draft. So they keep guys in house, and I think that's a big part of it. So I mean, I don't know. It just depends on how they view that. Jihad Campbell would be great pickup if we lose Spillane. Yeah, but are you taking him in the first round of the draft? You talking linebacker, right? Just subbed. What's good, Danny? Appreciate you. Um, we hope Tyree has a light bulb turn on. Just man, with his size, bro, I just don't see it. He doesn't have the quickness. He doesn't have the speed to be on the end, on the edge, in my opinion. And when you have guys like Kaylavon Chasen on the roster that are just way better at that position that were also drafted in the first round, you know, you have hopes, right? You have glimmer of hopes. You're looking at here. Let me get out of this shit right here. You have a glimmer of hope looking at Caleb Von Chase and saying, all right, look at how long Caleb Von, went to two different teams. It took him a while to click. But with Tyree Wilson, you can't say that, bro. He's been under one of the best defensive line coaches in the NFL, in my opinion, and Robbie Leonard. And, and he's been in Patrick Graham's system since he's been drafted. So you have no excuse not to get better every year. And the baby steps he's taken is not worth the what is it, $6 million he's making right now. Chef, what's good? Appreciate you. Danny C, appreciate the sub, my guy. Uh no, Campbell is likely second round auto pick if he falls. I I don't see that either. I don't see that. I could see a team like like the Bills or the Bengals. Like I said, a team, teams that are just right there, even the Baltimore Ravens, you know, possibly moving up to grab some of these linebackers in the first round or some of these sneaky running backs or some of these sneaky defensive tackles or defensive ends that a lot of people are, saying it's going to be crazy in the first round when it comes to defensive line. And there's a lot of teams that need defensive line. So in my prediction, I see this draft going crazy. Like this is going to be one of the wildest drafts. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I see a lot of move ups. I see a lot of trades. I see it one of the craziest years ever, in my opinion. There's just so many teams that have so many needs that don't have too many draft picks that might be swapping out picks for next year. And especially with that salary cap, that we just talked about, if it keeps going up and you can, bring in guys and pay them most of their money on the back end of their contract, that's huge for a lot of teams, right? You can go out and swing for the fences. And like I've been preaching on this channel, I think this is the year that the Raiders, try to buy a Super Bowl, and no, not just pay for it, but buy it by bringing in, top free agents, by filling the holes we have with the top name, big time name guys. And this is the way to do it, right? If the salary cap is going to continue to go up like they're saying, and you can load all these guys, up on 3-year contracts, 4-year contracts, and pay most of them on the back end when the cap does go up, that's big for a lot of teams. And that's gonna, I mean, to me, it's just gonna make the competition in the NFL way more crazy. I mean, we thought it was crazy when, with free agency and all the shit, that the franchise tags and all the shit going on now, but man, that's going to be wild. Someone has to fall to us at second. I think patience will pay off. Well, let's talk about the draft then. I don't see us, you know, I really don't see us, unless it's somebody that we can't resist, picking at 6. I've talked about it before. Like, Pete Carroll's only drafted 4 times in the first round in 14 years in Seattle. The rest of the times he traded those first round picks for players like Marshawn Lynch, like what was the tight end? Jimmy Graham, I believe, the tight end. He traded 2 first round picks, I do believe, for him. So that's his MO. And I don't, if you're an older coach like Pete Carroll is, and it's worked for you in the past, why would you change it? Why would you risk drafting guys at 6 when you have a bunch of holes to fill? I mean, let's face it, we need 2 running backs, not just one. We need 2 running backs. We need a quarterback, maybe 2, possibly, depending on, what this regime sees when they break down film of these guys, or what Tom Brady sees in these guys. We might not even need a quarterback. Who knows? That I'm not, not here to say that, but we need a quarterback, maybe 2. We need 2 running backs. We need probably 2 guards, possibly a tackle. We definitely need a corner, somebody that can play the slot if Nate Hobbs, gets that bag and decides to walk. So we definitely need a corner. We don't know what's going on with Epps at safety, so we probably might need another safety. Then when you go to we definitely need a receiver, whether it's free agency, whether it's in the draft. So basically, at every position, we need at least one solid key guy, and we can, get maybe 3, maybe 4 starters out of the draft. We might have 2 or 3 starters out of last year's draft in a Trey Taylor. Maybe a Dylan Labe. We don't know. We could have starters in that draft that didn't get to play, like DJ Devonshire, or I don't know why I can't think of the other corner's name, but y'all know what I mean. So, we had some good players. Also Amari Gaynor, a UDF linebacker, could have a huge breakout year. He didn't get much play time. It was, basically all special teams. When they did play him, they put him at defensive end, which, yeah, I know his last year he played defensive end, but he also played linebacker, and he played linebacker for us in the 49er game. The whole entire game, he was Mike linebacker, ran the defense. So Amari Gaynor is somebody that I thought last year was going to be, the talk of the town, but they didn't give the kid a chance. So maybe this new regime will put him in, and he'll get more playtime. But we still have guys on this team that we don't know what they can do because they didn't get a lot of playtime. Tommy Eichenberg, a linebacker that we drafted, pretty high in the draft for a linebacker, didn't get much playtime. He was injured a lot. So another guy, Luke Masterson. A lot of people hate Luke Masterson, but if you hear the Raiders, like Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo, Max Crosby, all these guys talk about Luke Masterson, saying this dude has Pro Bowl, potential to be a Pro Bowl style linebacker, to be one of those, Robert Spillane type dudes. And I mean, I don't know, haven't seen it so far, but he hasn't got much, chance to prove it. So we have dudes on this roster, but we also have a lot of holes to fill and just so many questions. We have what, the second or third youngest roster in the NFL. That's leaves questions. And yeah, we have a lot of you don't have a lot of film on these guys because they didn't get a lot of play time. So you don't have a lot of film on Amari Gainer, Aaron Eichenberg, or a lot of the guys we drafted. You don't have any film on the Dalton Wagner that's still on the roster. Um, so there's huge questions. There's huge questions, and even huger questions. Huger is not even a word. I cannot, but I can't believe I said that. Even bigger questions is who's coming back with 27 free agents, and how do we bring them all back? And again, like I said, we have the the pro simulator, but that thing, in my opinion, is trash. I messed with it the last 2 days because I was going to do it live the other day, but I was like, man, you can offer pretty much anything to anybody that's on our team, and they're going to accept it. So the simulator's not the same. I mean, if you pull up a bunch of screens and go by market value of each player, maybe I'll do that later on tonight and I'll break it down like that. But what I've seen on the, some of the people breaking down the simulator shit, I mean, come on, dude. You're going to offer Spillane 10 million, 12 million for 3 years and think he's going to take that? I mean, I don't know. I think his market value is going to be a little bit higher than that. Um, the Malcolm Kuntz shit, letting him walk, I think is crazy. We've heard Max Crosby preach over and over again, right? Max Crosby is the leader of the team, the heartbeat of the team. He is a Raider. Everybody wants him to be a Raider. And his biggest bitch is the guys that he believes in get let go, walk in free agency or get traded. And I believe that's why Malcolm Kuntz comes back, whether it's on a 1 year deal, whether they go balls to the wall and be like, damn, let's listen to Max Crosby and sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal. I don't know. Maybe they seen enough in him that, they pay the man. Maybe they don't. But from what I've seen and what I've seen on tape and what I've seen, from the production of Max Crosby, the rest of the team without Malcolm Kuntz in the lineup, was devastating for us. Caleb Von Chasen and Jonah Lalu, when they came in, kind of stepped up and got a lot more pressure on the quarterback, disrupted a lot of the offensive schemes, especially Chasen. But it still wasn't what Malcolm Kuntz was doing out there. Malcolm Kuntz was in the backfield every single play. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch the Kansas City game on Christmas Day. Like, a big part of that victory was Malcolm Kuntz was in the backfield over and over again. Who was in the backfield over and over again that just won the Super Bowl? I believe the whole entire defensive line, well, not the whole, they only rushed four, but all four of whoever they put in against the Kansas City Chiefs. And they took that playbook, I guarantee you, from the Raiders. They're like, damn, look at Malcolm Kuntz can rush this. Let's put sweat on this guy, put, nonstop pressure and just blitz four constantly. And they put so much pressure on Patrick Mahomes, just like we did when we should have won the game this year. And we lost to a botched snap. And we still should have won that game. So Malcolm Kuntz is huge for us, man. He got better every single year. If you just watch film on the guy, his get off is crazy. Like, it's up there with the top defensive guys. And yes, coming off an injury, that's the biggest thing. Is he going to be healed? I mean, he did have a whole entire year to get back. So, let me get some of this chat before it gets too deep. Campbell in the second round. I just, man, I don't see, like, there's three guys three linebackers in this draft that I could see going in the first round. I could see teams moving up for them, or I could see just picking them. But then you could see, they might fall to the second round. Look how far my favorite pick last year in the draft was Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, what? He fell to 21, 22, 23, something like that to the Eagles. So, I mean, he could definitely fall. But then you look at the year that Javon Curse had. I just don't see some of these, linebackers slip into the second or definitely to the third round. I think first and second round is going to be, you know, if these linebackers have any chance of starting at, Mike, Will, or Sam position, these teams are going to go after him. The Rams were 1-4 last year. They had injuries, to Cooper Kupp, to Puka Nachua. The offense was, they were dead in the water, right? Dead in the water. Everybody thought 1-4. They come back, they win their division, I do believe, and make the playoffs and make noise in the playoffs. You know, with a Matthew Stafford at his age, which a lot of people are saying we should go after and get. I just don't see the Rams moving on from Matthew Stafford. Why at this stage, if he can still play football, why do you worry about social media and all that bullshit? It should be more about football games. And Matthew Stafford, with the connection he has with that offense and what they did last year, to get rid of him this year would be just crazy, bro. Just absolutely crazy. Um, patience. Yeah. But I see us, like I said, I could see us definitely trading back in this draft. I mean, that's definitely been the MO for Pete Carroll. And I don't, if it's broke, if it's not broke, don't fix it, is the MO that I see. So if you look at his track record, quarterback in the third round, second round, maybe you might have to take him in the second round this year because there's probably going to be a run on quarterbacks. There's also talk, that there could still be six quarterbacks taken in the first round this year just because of teams bad drafting or, overdrafting players, which, speaking of overdrafting players, I know y'all seen the title and probably want to know why Shador is on there. Well, there's been a comment made by Shador Sanders himself saying, all caps, him going to the Raiders at 6. Now, is it all caps, him going to the Raiders, or is it just all caps that he's fallen to 6, which I believe is falling to 6. He's like, there's no way I'm falling that far. I'm going 1 or I'm going 3 to the Giants, or somebody's moving up to get him. But is that really the case? Let me know in the chat. Do y'all believe Shador is going to go in the top 5, or could he possibly fall to 6? There's a lot of guys moving up in this draft, especially on the defensive side when it comes to edge rushers, when it comes to defensive tackles. And there's, some people say there's an edge rusher in Abdul Carter, which I think might be getting just a little bit too much hype. I'm gonna be the first one to say it. The guy was a linebacker. He moved the defensive end in 1 year, and yeah, he dominated the shit out of everybody he faced. But damn, y'all talking about Malcolm Kuntz doesn't deserve the money he deserved, who played in the NFL, not just college football, played in the NFL for 3 years and got better every single year and then got hurt, 1 year. But damn, he had 8 sacks in 9 games last year. Pretty damn good. And we seen the tapes, in the off season, and the dude just got better and better. Um, but yeah, as far as for some reason, I see us trading back in the draft, somewhere in the teens, maybe 20s, maybe taking a lineman. It just all depends on what Spytek wants to do, um, and Carroll, and how they're gonna fit in. Because if you go with Carroll's system, he's not taking a quarterback, in my opinion, in the first round. like I said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I see him going after a free agent, but I don't see him going crazy on a free agent either. I don't see him paying $45 million for a free agent, especially if you try to put it all together and you look at Spytek. Now, what does Spytek do, right? He went and got Tom Brady. Of course, we all know how that ended up. They won Super Bowls or won the Super Bowl. It was all great, blah, blah, blah. Tom Brady retired. What's he do? He goes and gets Baker Mayfield, not the highest paid quarterback in free agency that year. Baker Mayfield was only $4 million at the time he went and signed Baker Mayfield. So, to me, Spytek is a brilliant man. I don't see him going and paying crazy money for Aaron Rodgers, which we don't know what the Aaron Rodgers price is going to be. If he really wants to play, I don't see him playing for no league minimum like Russell Wilson. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't see Aaron Rodgers ever doing that. So I just don't see us going and swinging for the fences on a guy like Aaron Rodgers or a Sam Darnold, for that crazy, ridiculous price. I see him going more like a Drew Lock, um, you know, Carson Wentz, some of these, guys that are still mobile that can throw the ball if you don't put everything on their shoulders, right? And, Drew Lock and the systems he's been in has pretty much had all the weight on his shoulders, right? You're that guy, pressure galore. Maybe if you take some of that pressure off and you give him a running back, or you, I mean, stay with some of the guys you got and just put a running game in, you know, around whoever we bring in. Jahad Campbell would be ideal. Then he could play linebacker. Metabooker similar could play DB position. Versatile is worth a ton of roster flux. I'm not disagreeing. I know Jahad Campbell is a beast. There's like I said, there's two or three, maybe even four, depending on if they shit could be five or six, depending on where they play him in the NFL. If they put him at edge, if they move guys to linebacker. But there's man, defensive side of the ball is stacked in this draft. Um, we need a rookie, man. Let the kid battle it out with AOC. These bridge veterans are all step backwards. And I agree 100%. That is the best the best comment of the day. I don't have any keyboard sounds or nothing to play for you, but dude, I'm with you. I'm on board 100%. If you're gonna have a battle, go draft your quarterback, right? Go draft your quarterback, whether it's Shador Sanders, whether it's Cam Ward, whether it's Jackson Dart, whether it's my guy Riley Leonard, or Jackson Dart too. But everybody jumped on that bandwagon, so kind of gonna let it slide because I think Jackson Dart got pumped up way too much, where he's not gonna fall out of the first round. So that's not an option for us unless we trade back, or we just swing for the fences and go get Jackson Dart. However, we'll talk about it now since it's on the title, but the Raiders have moved on from Champ Kelly. Everybody knows by now it was a mutual thing. I think this hurts the Raiders. I think it hurts the Raiders this year in the draft. I think it hurts the Raiders in the future. Champ Kelly has a damn good eye for talent, and he was a key part in a lot of the players we drafted last year. The Brock Bowers, the JPJ. He was the guy out there you would see at the Senior Bowl, at the Combine. Champ Kelly was everywhere scouting these dudes, and he was doing it this year, all year long. So he was out there at the Shrine Bowl, putting in work, scouting all these dudes. He was out there at the Senior Bowl, I believe, too, scouting all, doing his scouting and shit. And also last year, all the scouting he did last year, I just think that's a huge loss for us to move on, for a guy that maybe one day he will get that GM position. There's a lot of talk why hasn't he gotten one yet? I think he probably would have had the GM job if Patrick Graham got the job, but we all know the story. Duvall called at the last minute and changed his mind. It was like, all right, I'll take the job or take the interview or whatever he did. So kind of screwed both of them out of the picture. But I think Champ Kelly is a huge, huge loss. Like the guy has an eye for talent. He's damn good at scouting, and he's brought in a lot of players or been a part of bringing in a lot of players that helped us, like Kayvon Chasen, even Jack Jones, Jonah Lalu. He's been a part of bringing in these guys. So I think to let him walk or whatever they part ways, mutual ways, is a big loss for us, especially at this time. He's taken all his draft knowledge from last year, the year before, the whole time he's been with the team. He's been scouting these guys, so he's taken all that and walking, and now we're bringing in new scouts that are going to have to go over all this film and watch all this tape on a bunch of guys, are guys that maybe were scouting different players than what we were looking at, and maybe they don't have as much tape or as much film or advice or say on a guy as Champ Kelly, like a Jackson Dart. Maybe some guys, the scouts we bringing in weren't looking at that dude and have to put in more work, to try to look at him on tape, which is not always the best. You want to see a guy live, if possible. So I think losing Champ Kelly um, is a big, big loss for us, and especially at this time of the year. Just the connections he has in the NFL, be able to call and talk to other GMs and other scouts, and who are you guys looking at? Is there guys we should be looking at? Is there a name he don't know? Shit like that. So I'm really questionable of I don't know who the scouts are. Maybe y'all know. Let me know. But who our scouts are gonna who's gonna be that head guy? Who's gonna be running shit? And also the number one reason why I see is, yeah, Zach Wilson, another guy. You could go get a Zach Wilson. You can go get that Alabama guy that played for the Patriots. The hell's his name? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank today. But Mac Jones. I mean, look, Mac Jones is another guy, has a pretty strong arm, had a damn good rookie year under Josh McDaniels with the Patriots. I don't know if, Chip Kelly's system would fit him, or what are you doing, cat? Yeah, I don't know if it'd fit him or be a good fit, but that's another guy that you could possibly look at. Did damn good in Alabama. Like I said, wasn't he up there for rookie of the year or something? Had a pretty solid rookie year under Belichick and Dick Daniels and the Patriots, and didn't do too bad this year, right? When he came in for Jacksonville. Um, Probably a couple Jacksonville, a lot of Jacksonville fans are pissed off because they could have a higher draft pick if they wouldn't have ended up winning the game. But he came down. I think he won the game against the Titans, or not won the game, but helped them win the game. So Mac Jones is another guy you can look at. You can definitely, think about Zach Wilson. Um, there's guys out there, right, on the cheap. You could even say Justin Fields. I just don't see Justin Fields being accurate enough in a Chip Kelly system. That's my whole thing with Justin Fields. Yes, he can run the ball. Yes, he's mobile as shit. Yes, you can run all kinds of RPOs. But what does that do for Brock Bowers, right? What does that do for Jacoby Myers? What does that do for our receivers and our passing game if you bring in a mobile quarterback that's going to be a run first guy, that's not very accurate at passing, has a strong arm, can throw the ball anywhere on the field, can make all the throws, just has a problem with his accuracy. He's definitely not good at reading defenses. He's not good at throwing guys open. So why would you bring in a guy just for mobility to lose all the all that passing accuracy, pre-snap reads is a problem. You got a guy already that's proven he can, damn good at pre-snap reads, decent at throwing guys open, going through his progressions. I don't know why you would take a chance on a Justin Fields. Maybe just the price, or maybe you think Chip Kelly or Greg Olson can develop him. But damn, I mean, at what age do you stop being developed, right? In the NFL or even in college? Like at that age, you should be developed. I don't know how you could change a guy's mechanics, or maybe you put the virtual headset on him. Maybe they go that route. Maybe a team takes a swing at Justin Fields, but I see Justin Fields probably staying in Pittsburgh. I don't see him being on the board. I mean, if you're going to swing for the fences and go with two guys, Justin Fields played pretty solid in that offense. He already knows the team. They took him out for financial reasons. They didn't want to give up a you know, a fourth round pick instead of a sixth round pick. So the story goes. And they went with Russell Wilson. But we don't know who's going to be there, who's going to stay there. I mean, they could do some crazy shit and even franchise tag. Okay, they're not going to franchise tag him at whatever $20 million, but who knows? So that's what I see us doing. And the biggest factor of us not going out and getting Sam Darnold or getting Aaron Rodgers or one of these top free agents or even trading for an expensive quarterback is Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly run the shit out of the football. Yes, constantly bang bang football. That's gonna be this team's MO. So why would you go pay $45 million, you know, for a quarterback when you're gonna run the ball most of the time, when you're gonna be a dominant physical team up front, win in the trenches, run jet sweeps, throw the ball out of the backfield, to the running backs out of the backfield, wheel routes, drag routes, all that shit. That's what Pete Carroll does. That's what Chip Kelly's gonna do. Yeah, they're going to take shots and throw the ball down the field, but you don't need a $45 million quarterback to do that. If you're going to be a defensive minded team, like all Seattle, all Pete Carroll's teams have been Seattle, USC. It doesn't matter where, New England, where he's been, they've been defensive minded teams, defense first, right? He's a defensive guy. So you're going to have defensive minded team that's going to try to, shut teams down, put pressure on the quarterback, just like Philly did all year long. That's going to be our style on defense, I believe. And then, we're basically going to be the Philadelphia Eagles wearing silver and black. We're going to be physical on defense. We're going to try to rush the quarterback, with 4 or 5 guys and drop the rest in coverage, which is a reason why I could see us, possibly moving on from a Robert Spillane if the price goes crazy and gets too high, because he's not great in coverage. And you have an Amari Gainer that's fast as hell, that can keep up with a way younger, way way stronger build. Um, so lots of questions, lots of questions. What do y'all think? What are your comments? Let me know. Who should we go get in free agency? Should we go swing for the fences on the top offensive guard? Should we go swing for the fences on a top defensive end? Let our homegrown talent walk? I just don't see that being the case. If you look at Tom Brady, if you look at Spytek, if you look at Pete Carroll, all those guys believe in developing players, and you can't develop players by letting them walk. So I can see a lot of guys coming back. The problem is, do we have the money and who? Um, Lewis, appreciate you. Couch GM. Old Rich Gannon won MVP as quarterback. I agree. Doesn't matter who's behind. Hey, let me pull this up so y'all can read this shit too. There we go. Yeah, if y'all would stop commenting, we quit moving. All right, so there we go. I believe who was behind there when we have 2002 Oakland Raiders offensive line. Dude had all day to throw the ball. Running backs were dashing 15-yard plays. I agree. I agree 100%. And, if you go that route, coach, couch GM, I don't know why I said coach. If you go that route, then why go pay for a high price free agent? Just draft a rookie, let him compete with Aiden O'Connell, and let the best man win. Because this is my theory on free agency. If you go get a Sam Darnold, does the rookie or Aiden O'Connell or whoever we keep in the building, does he ever get a shot, right? Does he ever get a chance? Because they didn't last year. We seen with Gardner Minshew coming in, making $25 million, 15 guaranteed, that the job was his from the day he walked in the building. Now they can have the press conference and try to say, oh, they told me from day one I have to compete. I have to earn the job. That was all bullshit. We all know it was bullshit. Aiden O'Connell was a much better quarterback than Gardner. He showed it in preseason. They showed it in all the practices, the drills we were seeing. It wasn't even a question. But Gardner Minshew got the job because of the money. So if you bring in Aaron Rodgers, there's no competition. There's not going to be, oh, well, okay, well, maybe with Pete Carroll. I digress. Maybe with Pete Carroll because he did go pay Nick Foles a bunch of money, trade for Nick Foles, draft a rookie, and the rookie beat him out, and he let him play. So that could be the case. But if that could be the case, then why pay a crazy amount, in free agency for a guy that had one good year, had shit years everywhere he's been, has one good year with a damn good coach, with a damn good quarterback coach, and Josh McCown, who's been a quarterback in the NFL, who some say is the next up and coming OC or head coach if somebody would just give him the opportunity. So, he had a damn good system. He had Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in the entire NFL to throw the ball to. Like, and then shit, what was his the second and third receiver? I can't think of their name, but come on, dude. He had a good tight end. He had a run game, a solid offensive line. Like Sam Darnold had everything he needed to succeed. They basically in the offseason, kind of built the team around him in the offseason, which it was probably going to be built around JJ McCarthy, but he got hurt. And they went with Sam Darnold. So I just don't see paying a guy $45 million for one good year. That's how you ruin franchises. That's how you set your franchise and your team. Um, your coaching staff gets fired, and you set your team back another 5 years because you can't recover from shit like that. That's dumb, dumb, dumb franchise moves. When you got a guy, if you look at the numbers, and I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell is Sam Darnold because he's not. He can't definitely run like him. He's not as mobile as him. But if you just look at the numbers and you got a guy you're paying under $2 million that can come in, throw short passes, throw deep ball passes, if you just protect him and build a wall around the guy so nobody can touch him, and you bring in an Ashton Genty or a Omar Hampton or a Marion Hampton or a Judkins, or come on, man. If you bring in one of these stud, insane running backs out of this draft and put him behind a decent, behind a quarterback and that doesn't turn the ball over, that doesn't make bad decisions. I mean, look at his record, bro. In 17 starts, he's 20 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. And you could say, if you go back and watch film, a lot of those interceptions, I could think of 4 of them that were tipped balls by the running back, which it goes to the quarterback, but it's not the quarterback's fault that your running back can't catch the pass. So I'm just saying, why go crazy when you can pay money in free agency to get another guard, maybe 2. They just re-signed Meredith, I do believe. So, I mean, that's damn good. I think that the man played his ass off, deserves the opportunity to fight for that position. Could probably pack on a little bit, more weight. Same thing with Parham. I mean, Parham is versatile. If you're gonna pull guards, and run that style of offense, then you keep Parham. But if you're gonna be a physical power run, power zone, then Parham Parham at 285 is just not going to work. So you have to go get another guard. And if you're going to go get a guard, I mean, I think the cheapest, the top three is like 12 mil, 7 mil, and 6 mil. That's high price, right? That's high price. You could look at $92 million and think that's going to stretch all day long. But again, I'll come back on tonight and we'll break it down when I have a little bit more time. But I've been on here hours, so I ain't gonna be on here much longer. But yeah, there's no reason to bring in a Sam Darnold. There's no reason to bring in an Aaron Rodgers or any of these guys that you're paying all the money to if you want competition in the quarterback room. That was the problem we had last year. Is we brought in Gardner Minshew, paid him 15 mil up front, 24, 25 mil, whatever his contract was. And they all the uppers and the suits were like, bro, you can't start Aiden O'Connell when we're paying this guy this money. So there was no competition. They made it look like a competition. It was a false competition. Garner was the guy from the jump, and it it was the wrong move. We all know it was the wrong move. We could have won way more games with Aiden, literally on the cheap, and we could have saved that money that we wasted. And I do say wasted on a Gardner Minshew, and we could have paid Josh Jacobs that 25 million and brought him back and competed last year in my opinion. Even with the injuries on defense, our defense was still solid enough, and our offense, yeah, we only won 4 games. 3 of those I do believe was Aiden O'Connell. So, the kid's proven that he can compete if you give him weapons, and he's never had a team built around him. He's never had any adequate, you know, for a little bit he had Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers and Michael Mayer, and look what he did with that offense, right? I mean, he only had a winning record. He only went 3-1 in the division. What did we go last year? 0-6 in the division. So I mean, yeah, you could easily say bring in a top free agent running back, bring in a running back in the draft, second, third round. You could probably even get one fourth round in this draft. But there's lots of talk like there could be probably 30 running backs drafted in this draft. The highest since what 2017. I think 2017 they took 29 running backs. Um, in 2011, which was a crazy draft, they took like 31 running backs, and they're saying this year could be even more than that. So imagine out of the 50 running backs, 30 of them, 35 of them get drafted. Like that is crazy numbers. So that's how good this running back class is. And you know, who just won the Super Bowl, right? Just look at their quarterback. Did he throw for 300 yards a game and 2 touchdowns? Nope. But they had a running back that ran for over 100 yards a game and 2 touchdowns. They, short passes, pass when you need a first down, let your quarterback scramble when they need to. But we don't have to have a quarterback that can scramble if you just give him protection and let him, throw 5-yard passes like we did all last year. Aiden O'Connell threw, I think the lowest game was 36 passes. You're telling me you bring in a coaching staff that doesn't trust in a kid to start from the beginning of the season, but then you bring him in the middle of the season when you have lost 10 games in a row, and you're like, go out and throw the ball 44 times because we have no run game. And he does, and they win. And people are pissed off because we lost a draft pick. So I don't know. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I love it when people just straight just like there's no chance in hell that this kid could ever be anything. But you don't get opportunities, you can't be shit, right? Break time at work, chef in the building. No, I'm snowed in, so yeah. Ain't nobody going nowhere today. Um my guy, was it Barrios? Barrios? Did I get that right? Luis. I'm watching film on Malik Beckin. Any running back can run behind him. This guy is 25 years old. You're talking about the the guard for Philly. Is it the guard for Philly? Becton or the college kid? Hell no to Sam Darnold. Rodgers will likely sign for the cheap. Yeah, he's going to sign for the cheap, but I mean, to me, if I'm the New York Giants and you're being told by your owners and the uppers that this is your last year to get it right for your head coach and your GM, and you have what the third pick in the draft, I say you take a quarterback and you bring in Aaron Rodgers and pray to God that he could help you out. Like that's what I'm doing if I'm the Jets. Like I'm not spending crazy money on a Sam Darnold, but if you're in your last year, I mean, let's be honest, Aaron Rodgers did have a solid year. He did have I think a better year than Patrick Mahomes, if I believe right. 20 uh like 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, somewhere in there. I don't know the exact numbers. 28, I don't know. But Aaron Rodgers did have a decent year. But I just think he's on his last legs, man. Shane Butler was good, my guy. You know, with the weapons he had over there, I just don't know what the problem was in New York, why they couldn't win. Maybe their offensive line, but they had a decent running game. I mean, you have a crazy, crazy, crazy receiver in Garrett Wilson, and then you bring in Devontae Adams. Like I don't know. I don't know. He did have a better year. I guess the beginning of the year he struggled the most, but he was coming off, the Achilles injury. I do understand that shit. And he had a pretty solid year. And I think he's going to help a team if he decides to play. But I think the problem with Aaron Rodgers is he's probably going to wait till the last minute and be like, okay, I want to play, like maybe June 1st, and just screw up a bunch of teams' plans. I don't know. Um, Lewis wasn't Becton the master offense for the Philadelphia. Yeah, that's what I said. I think he's the guard or tackle for the. He's a free agent, right? Um, I do agree for the competition was funny business. There was no competition. It was Gardner getting first team reps, Aiden getting first team reps. Every reporter in the Raiders building, from Vegas sports to up and down the line, were all like, "Bro, Aiden O'Connell, Aiden O'Connell, Aiden O'Connell." Everybody was talking Aiden O'Connell. The the whole talk all through preseason was Aiden O'Connell. It was his job to lose. He never lost a job, but he never got the start. It was we'll never know what went on with the whole thing. Was it Getsy? Um, was it AP? Who knows? We won't know, but we do know it was a bad decision, and we're gonna have that same thing. It's just my point. If you bring in, they say they want competition in the building at every position. And if you want competition, you don't bring in a guy that's making 40 fucking million, excuse my language. You don't bring in a guy making $40 million to compete with a guy making $2 million. There's no competition. Nobody's looking at on the grass. They're like, all right, well, this guy might be a little bit better, but this guy makes $38 million more than this guy. We have to start this dude. Like it's just bad business and stupidity. It makes your coach look bad. It makes your GM. It makes everybody look bad that brought in that guy that got beat out by a younger guy or by a rookie. Like same thing happened in Philly. It looked very bad for Nick Foles and Pete Carroll. And Pete Carroll got a lot of criticism. They were like, "Bro, you just traded for this guy, and you're starting a third round draft pick." People thought he was nuts. Like, but the shit worked out. But that it don't work out very often. But there was actually a competition. Like, he wasn't worried about the price. It wasn't his money. Some people are, or you might have owners in the building that are like, bro, I'm paying this dude this much. I want to see him play. I want to see him on the grass. I want to see something for my money instead of sitting on the bench. What we got? Shane Butler in the building. I'm gonna do my math work while listening. Hope the Eagles hire Champ Kelly. That would be nasty, bro. That I mean, they already draft so good. I don't know why you would need a Champ Kelly, but he's gonna provide whatever team he goes to with a whole bunch of knowledge, and he's gonna help a franchise. I mean, just look what he did when he was with the Broncos. Like he helped build that roster and turn that team around. And it took him a while, but they were on track. Champ Kelly's was a damn good football player, and he knows talent, in my opinion. Yeah, Becton was a bully. Rebel isn't Fields, the dollar store version of Hurts for 7 million. He, I mean, yeah, I guess if you say Dollar General style, he doesn't he doesn't have the accuracy as Jalen Hurts. I think running wise, he might be a little bit more athletic. He doesn't have the build, he doesn't have the legs that Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts benches what 550 pounds or some shit, like it's like it's nothing. So I mean, he definitely doesn't have the build as Jalen Hurts, but yeah, it would definitely be a Dollar General, at 6.5 mil or 7 mil. But it's really not a bad price if if it could work out. Because let's face it, Spytek took a chance on Baker Mayfield, probably because the game with the Rams where he came in and beat the shit out of us. Like, let's be honest, like that game is probably what made Spytek and the Tampa Bay Bucks organization be like, all right, this guy got on the plane, learned a playbook, and come and beat the Raiders in the fourth quarter, and demolished any hopes we had of anything going, and got some coaches fired. So um, they took a swing, right? At 4 million, they were probably like, damn, that's a little pricey for a guy that's been bounced around, been a backup, has never really shown flashes of being that guy, except for when he went to the Rams, you know, and then he didn't even play well after that. He had some decent, a decent game, I think, or two, but he didn't play. It was just that game against the Raiders in the fourth quarter where they were like, "Damn, this dude has something and can be special with the right guys." So they took a chance, and maybe Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll see that in Justin Fields. They are older coaches; they have been around, and maybe they think they can, you know, pull that Rich Gannon. I don't know who said that. I think it was Luis. Um, Sorry, I don't want to go back and look, but you know, I wouldn't be mad at it. Is it ugly? Yeah. Is it hard to watch? Yes. But when you're winning, I don't give a shit. We can win 6-0 every game as long as we make the playoffs. I don't care. It's been so long. We just want to win, right? In the nation. So can you bring in a Justin Fields and run that Rich Gannon style where you don't let him throw the ball down the field unless it's a wide open play, or and you just throw 5-10 yard passes, and you have a running game. You could run RPOs, you could run play action. We could win like that. Definitely win like that. If you have a defense like Philly. Now, are we going to have that defense? We should. We should have had it last year, right? We brought in Christian Wilkins. We thought this offensive line or the defensive line was going to be absolutely unstoppable. And it turns out most of the defense got hurt, and they weren't unstoppable as we thought, but they still battled their asses off, kept us in games. So we were supposed to be last year what Philly was this year, right? A dominant defensive line, drop 7, and rush 4 and get to the quarterback and put pressure on them and make them make mistakes. And that's what we did when AP took over in those 7 games, and that's how we were going to win. Unfortunately, we lost $160 million Christian Wilkins. We lost a star player that probably, in my opinion, was destined to have a Pro Bowl year, and Malcolm Kuntz. And that hurt us. So can we have that this year? I believe so. But last year was, I said for the last year that I've been doing YouTube, it was our window now, right? Last year was our window, and we can see why. 27 free agents, Robert Spillane, Malcolm Kuntz, Trayvon Moreg, Nate Hobbs. These are all key pieces to our puzzle that we're about to lose. Maybe not all of them, maybe all of them, maybe some of them. And that's it's going to be hard to replace with $92 million. That's not enough to replace the 27 guys. Or like, even if you paid all of them a mil or half of them a mil and half of them 2 mil, shit, that's what 30, 40 something mil. If you bring in Robert Spillane, uh, say Robert Spillane and just Trayvon Morrig, just those two guys alone, you're looking somewhere maybe 20 mil a season or more. That's rough, bro. That's rough. So I said last year was the opportunity that we needed to swing for the fences, and I guess their swing for the fences was bring in Madison and oh, moment of silence. Bring in Madison as a running back, let Josh Jacobs walk, and you know, bring in Gardner Minshew, and that was our swing for the fences. So this year, I see it being totally different. I just hope it's not swinging for the fences with a $45 million quarterback. When I don't think you need that in the NFL to win. I think Philadelphia has written the blueprint, and if you really want to look at it, Kansas City kind of writ the blueprint also before that. I mean, they were a run heavy football team. Isaiah Pacheco ran the shit out of the ball until he got hurt. Even after they let Tyreek Wilson walk, they turned into a, run first, not run first football team, but a dominant run team where they ran for over 100, 130, 140 yards a game, I think, with two different running backs and then a quarterback that could scramble on third downs or whenever he needed to pick up yardage. Same blueprint, right? Same blueprint. They just let Patrick Mahomes throw the ball a little more. And this year he didn't, right? His numbers were not great. Um I think even if we draft a quarterback in the first round, Aiden starts week one. That depends on the chemistry, I think. Damn it, let me start these. I keep forgetting to start these conversations so I know where the hell I'm at. I mean, look, there is nobody on the planet except for maybe Aiden O'Connell's parents that want to see this kid start and get his opportunity. And, last year was the year. Like I said, I wouldn't be mad if we went 4-13 and he proved that, he wasn't the guy, that he got his shot. But he hasn't got his shot. And to me, I don't see this year being the year either when you're trying to win now. Now, again, they might look at the film. Tom Brady might evaluate Aiden O'Connell and say, bro, we're stupid if we don't go with this guy. He might feel like some of us feel because there's a lot of people in Raider Nation that are just like, man, just give the kid a full season. I mean, look at his numbers, right? 20 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, almost 4,000 yards and 17 starts. That's not great, right? It's not great. But now you put into the fact that you had taken Devontae Adams away from him, that they were starting to build a chemistry with. You didn't throw the ball to his number one target that he worked out with all year long in Trey Tucker. You had a run game that averaged 60 something, 68 yards a game. That's not even a run game, bro. You put Patrick Mahomes. I'll put left nut and right nut on it. Put Patrick Mahomes in an offense that has an offensive line that had 5 starters for 5 games. There was only 5 games that the offensive line was the same. Put him on an offensive line like that with no run game and tell me he puts up the numbers he does and takes his team to the Super Bowl. I just don't see it. So, it's a team sport. People seem to forget that. Yes, quarterback touches the ball more than anybody. turnovers play a big part of that. We've seen this year, and our quarterback um, more turnovers than he had touchdowns. But we also seen in Philly's offense that if you have a dominant defense, a run game, you don't turn the ball over, and your quarterback makes smart decisions, you can dominate the best team in the NFL. Like, or so some people say the best team in the NFL, right? And we did that. I mean, we did that with Aiden O'Connell. We did the same thing to the Kansas City Chiefs with the Aiden O'Connell with no running game. I mean, we had Zamir White that people say is the worst running back in the NFL, right? But somehow we beat the Chiefs with those two guys and a defense that, didn't put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands. So you can win ball games like that. And I would love to see Aiden O'Connell get his opportunity. I just don't feel like he's going to. But, again, I could be wrong. Like I said, maybe Pete Carroll and, Chip Kelly, or if he has the say in Tom Brady, maybe they've seen enough. Maybe they evaluated film and said, all right, let's just try. Let's just try it for 1 year and see what happens. But if you go spend money on a free agent, then that's not going to be the case. It's going to be the same case as next year as last year. There's not, they're going to make it look like a battle. They're going to take first and second team reps and all the way through camp. Nobody's going to be that number one guy, and it's going to hurt the shit out of the team. So that's not going to happen this year. Not with the guys we got in. I need to watch Field play those first 6-7 games with Pittsburgh. Just go watch the Raider game. Look, just go watch the Raider game. Yes, Pittsburgh won that game, but they should have beat our ass in that game. Really. I mean, they had wide open guy after wide open guy. Pickens, I don't know how many times was open, and Justin Fields threw the ball out of bounds, threw the ball at his feet, threw the ball over his head. He missed, I think, 2 wide open touchdown passes. So it was ugly, bro. It was ugly. You know how they beat us? With defense, a running game, and a quarterback that scrambled. Like, that was their biggest plays in that game was Justin Fields running the ball. Like, I think those were their biggest. They had I think five or six big plays, which is, plays over 10 yards. And I think almost all of those, I think, 2 were Najee Harris. He had 2 big runs. But the rest was Justin Fields. They didn't beat us passing. They had a horrible passing game. They didn't win any of their games passing. They won their games with defense. I think all their games were like what, 17-18, 20-13. They were pretty much low scoring games. So their defense is dominated. And you had a quarterback that, doesn't not very good at, pre-snap read, not very good at changing plays, not very good at reading defense. Just look at his interception to touchdown ratio and go back and watch film on him. So, you know, if you can win with the Justin Fields like the Steelers did, we could definitely win with Aiden O'Connell. Right? I would take a quarterback that can throw guys open, throw the deep ball, throw the short ball, put touch on it. Now, the only thing about Aiden that I don't like is, his arm is always one. I mean, it's a good thing, right? It's always the same throwing motion. He doesn't have that, rotating clock where you can throw, sidearm or underneath like Patrick Mahomes, like some of these, quarterbacks do with the low throwing arm where they can get it around the guy. He doesn't have all that, right? He doesn't need all that. What he does have is consistency, accuracy, and how do you think Tom Brady has so many rings? You can't even put them all on one hand. It's not because he was mobile. It sure the hell wasn't because he could run the ball or he was athletic. No, it's because he knew where he was throwing the ball before the ball was snapped. He could look at the defense and be like, all right, this first read ain't gonna work, second read ain't gonna work. I'm gonna have to hit my tight end, hit my check down, or hit my third ring. He knew before he snapped the ball where he was going with it. So he didn't have to go through his progressions because he'd just glance over there and be like, yep, that's what I thought. I'm throwing here. Aiden O'Connell does that. If you watch Aiden O'Connell play, he does that. He knows when he gets to the line of scrimmage where he's going with the ball. Now, where he gets in trouble is going through his progressions because his interceptions and a couple that were should have been intercepted were his, third read. First read good, second read good. You're trying to throw to your third read without looking at it, and that's where he gets in trouble. But you can change all that shit. You can change all that. My point is, you don't have to be a mobile quarterback to win in the NFL, and you don't have to be, a running quarterback to win in the NFL. You can win with either type. People say that it's the new era that you have to be mobile. I disagree. You don't have to be mobile. Now, being mobile definitely is an aspect that you need. I mean, you need in your game, in your arsenal. Like, you definitely want to be able to step up and run for 4 or 5 yards to pick up a first down, but you don't have to run the ball for 30 yards, 20 yards, or big plays, like Josh Allen continuously does. Is it nice? Yes. Is it fun? Is it exciting? Does it get everybody pumped up? Yeah, it's great. But um hate this cold weather. Yeah, man, it's cold as hell. But yeah, I mean, there is a very high possibility that you go with Aiden O'Connell, which, I mean, I don't see why that would be a possibility if you're in win now mode, unless you really believe that kid can do what can win ball games at a consistent rate like you need him to in the NFL. And who would know best than Tom Brady, right? Who would know best than Tom Brady? And I've made this point over and over and over again. If you go back and watch the Kay Adams show, um, just look it up. Kay Adams with Gronkowski. Gronkowski said some very important shit. And I think I even have a video. It might be up, but I don't know what it's called. So I can't tell you, go look it up. But I think I made a video of it too. Um, Gronkowski, she asked him, what about Tom Brady do people not know? And he said his evaluation of talent. He said the first thing, he's seen with Tom Brady was in the film room is he can watch tape on a guy for 2 minutes and know everything about that guy, how to beat him, his strengths, his weaknesses, and just in just 2 minutes of film. So if that's true, and that is the case, then we shouldn't have to worry about who the Raiders bring in at quarterback, in my opinion. If they go with Aiden, we should be ecstatic. We should support him and be behind him and not be like, oh shit, we're going with Aiden. We're going to suck. No, we should support him. If they decide to go crazy and go get Sam Darnold, I think we should back them too, just because of the fact that Tom Brady is in the building. And, you have a guy like Pete Carroll who's been there, done that at won championships. He got chips at both leagues, in college, in the NFL. Should have two at both, but has two at one at the other. So I trust in these guys and their decisions, but I just see us having a dominant defense. I see us spending a bunch of money on defense, probably going crazy in the draft, unless they see that there's guys that can fill the holes that we need filled. It's probably going to be a lot of defensive draft, and we're going to run the shit out of the ball. We're going to go get a dominant physical running back, and we're going to pound the football. And that means Sincere McCormick and Lave are probably out. It very well could be. I mean, we could lose a lot of teams. I said it at the beginning of last year that if Antonio Pierce didn't work out and he was fired in his first year, that they were going to blow this team up and it was going to be a complete rebuild. And they're swearing that it's not going to be a complete rebuild. So the only way it's not going to be a complete rebuild is if you go crazy in free agency and bring back all these guys, which is a crazy amount of money. Raf says, what about Kenneth Gainwell? He could be a backup running back. Barkley helped Gainwell with his vision sometimes, as Beerman White doesn't. I mean, Yeah, I think being behind a Saquon Barkley could definitely help your case. I think the dude's a damn good running back. Now I don't know where the market's going to be, but I would love to see the Raiders kind of get lucky like the Chargers did. Right? They went and got Dobbs. You know, you get a running back at a UDFA. You just have a physical offensive line, and you just run the ball down people's throats. Like nobody thought that Dobbins or whatever for the Chargers was going to have the year he had. So I mean, you could go that route, or you could just go crazy and get, go backups, or you could swing for the fences and go a Najee Harris. But I don't know. I don't think he's physical enough for Pete Carroll's style and what he's trying to do. Think about that. Rich Gannon came to the Raiders and was a bum with Kansas City. I mean, exactly. There's, it's all about team fit, and especially when it comes to drafted. If you're drafted in the first or second round, you're usually a team that's ass. Unless somebody moved up to get you, more than likely you're drafted by a team that's there for a reason. They're high picks because they were the worst team in the NFL. So when damn, when you go to those situations, if they don't build a team around you like the Raiders have failed to do with Aiden O'Connell, then you're never going to see what the dude has. And that was the story with Rich Gannon. That was the story with our own Jim Plunkett, right? Look at Jim Plunkett. What did he go to the Vikings? He went New England, I think. Fuck, I don't know, man, but I could be wrong. But I do believe he played for both of those teams before he came to the Raiders. You came to the Raiders, was a damn good situation. What did we have? What did we have when Jim Plunkett came to the Raiders? Does anybody know? Raise your hand. No. Come on, somebody tell me. I've been talking about it for the last hour and a half. What did Jim Plunkett have with the Raiders when he got to the Raiders that got us to the Super Bowl? Somebody got to know. Nobody? Come on, it's not that big of a delay. He had a fucking dominant defense, bro. He had Howie Long. He had Lyle Alzado. He had oh my god, shit, I can't. But y'all know. And he had, yes, thank you, Marcus flipping Allen, bro. He had a fucking damn good run game. So people keep telling me that I'm crazy and I don't know football and I don't know what I'm talking about. And maybe that's why I don't have enough followers, or maybe that's why people ain't in my shit. But I tell y'all, you're bullshit. I know a damn good amount of football. And you don't have to be a genius to know how to win football games. We've said it a million times on this channel too. Out of the last 24 Super Bowl winners, 17 of them, 17 have had top 10 defenses. Defenses win football. On the other hand, all those 17 teams had a top 10 or 15 running game also. So it's not all quarterbacks. We we seen we just seen, what Jalen Hurts did. He didn't have to be the hero all the time. He just handed the ball off, made plays when he needed to on third down, 3rd and 9, throw the ball to one of the best receivers in the NFL, right? I mean, how could you go wrong? You got a solid tight end. You got weapons galore. So when you're constantly running the ball, they're going to be pounding the box, right? They're going to be looking for the ball to be ran, and then you can disguise run plays into pass plays and just totally cream teams. It doesn't take the best quarterback in the NFL. It doesn't take the most mobile quarterback in the NFL with the strongest arm. We've seen that. We've seen that with the Ravens. We've seen that, again with Brad Johnson and Tampa Bay Bucks, what they did to us. There's no way that man should have had that many points in a Super Bowl or in any game. My guy Lawrence, what's good? What's good? So, I mean, yeah, Jim Plunkett, dude, he had a rough career. It wasn't the greatest, but then he comes to the Raiders and cleans house, bro, because it was a perfect fit. He had
crazy receivers. He had a running game. He had a defense that he could rely on. So he didn't have to worry about going out there and throwing interceptions, which everybody seems to be the biggest thing is, well, he threw an interceptions in that game, or, you know, he had 10 interceptions, 12 interceptions, and only 20 touchdowns. But yeah, but also how many of those balls were tipped, or, how many of those balls were tipped at the line? Like, you have to take in uh, all that shit with a grain of salt. Um, Billy D still in the building. Raiders Rebel gonna shit because Pete Carroll. What? It's an old part reason, and I'm repping Raiders as much. What in the hell? Pete Carroll's not old, bro. He's ancient. There's a difference. He's a very young old. Very young old. I still rep the Raiders because of my hoodie, but I don't like head coach Pete Carroll too. I told you, Shane. I already told you. I already predicted how this is gonna go. The Raiders are gonna come out, have a dominant year, and you're gonna be back on the bandwagon going, Pete Carroll was the greatest hire, just like most of the people that don't like him right now. Just like they're gonna be when Aiden O'Connell ends up starting this season. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, it could happen, bro. It could definitely happen. There is that scenario where, if you bring in some quarterbacks that are only, $4 or $5 million guys, and you bring in a rookie that, he has the upper hand, right? You have a year with the best tight end in football. You have 2 years, or I guess going on 3 years, with Jacoby Myers. So you have camaraderie, you have chemistry, you have all that shit. Timing, with the receivers, you do have an upper hand. Aiden has an upper hand for sure. Um, I don't bandwagon. I just see facts. All right, my guy. We will see. We will see. I'm telling you, Pete Carroll is him, bro. It's gonna be crazy. So, man, who do y'all think? Y'all think is there anybody on this franchise that you would think about franchise tagging? Any way, shape, or form? Is there anybody that we can't lose? I mean, the only guy I see that would possibly be, in the running would be Trayvon. What you say, bro? I know football, and I know the least oldest coach failed. The last oldest coach failed. No, Belichick didn't fail. Andy Reid, I guess, just lost a Super Bowl, but he's won how many of the last Super Bowls, bro? He failed, so Pete Carroll will fail as well. You crazy, bro? You crazy, 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 crazy. All right, so let's get back to this. What was I saying? So I could easily see us, Christian Wilkins. Damn, bro, that's crazy. 14 mil minus on the cap. But anyways, if we could restructure Crosby, which I don't know how that's gonna go. I just don't see us saving 16 mil on there. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Colt Miller, we talked about Colt Miller. There is a very, very big chance that you could trade Colton Miller. I don't know, what I mean. There's a lot of teams. He still is, a top probably 12. I don't know if I'd say top 10 anymore after the year he had, but he still is probably top 15. And there are 32 teams. So, somebody would like to upgrade at that position. And maybe we go draft the best tackle in this year's draft, or take a chance and move Munford or DJ Glaze over to that left side and have Munford on one side, Glaze on the other, and rock with that for a season. But Munford kind of struggled last year, but he was also hurt, so I don't know how that's going to go. Jacoby Myers, where's he at? He got 2 more years. Gardner Minshew, there's a lot of talk about releasing Gardner Minshew after June 1st, and we only take 3 million. I think 3 million dead cap money, or 7 mil. Damn. So yeah, I mean, there's also talks of Gardner Minshew might fit Chip Kelly's system, and maybe the Raiders bring him back since they already paid him 15 mil last year, and he's only due 7 mil this year. I mean, yes, he had an off and horrible year, and I can't believe I'm even saying this, but when it comes to passing and throwing on the run and shit, he's better than Justin Fields. Now, he's not as athletic. He's definitely not, more mobile or better with the ball in his hand on the ground. But I mean, God, I would hate to see Gardner Minshew back in the silver and black. But that it could be another possibility. I mean, it all depends on this money, and the money is going to go very, very, very fast. Andre James is, absolutely ridiculous. What did we pay him? 20 something mil for 3 years. I don't know. They're probably just going to have to eat that, and he's probably going to be, the backup. But there is still that scenario, which I hate to say it, and a lot of Raider fans are going to be pissed because, some guys like Andre James and some don't. But there is that scenario where, you know, maybe they swing for the fences on that quarterback and go pay $45 million for a Sam Darnold, which God makes me want to throw up in my mouth just saying it. But if they do go that scenario and we miss out on guards, maybe because they're paying Andre James that much money, if they can't move on from him or they don't decide to cut him, which I don't know why you would cut him. I mean, he's decent. He's not absolutely horrible. Maybe you move JPJ back to guard and have Meredith and JPJ in the guard positions, and golly, and rock with Andre James. I mean, that's definitely not my plans. I don't want to do it on the team. I've been saying it for 3 years. I said it since we traded one of the best centers in the NFL just to put him at the center position. I didn't like it. Never liked it. I mean, he had some okay years, did pretty decent for us. I'm not going to complain for the money, but now for the money, I'm complaining. So I'm not good with Andre James, bro. And I don't know. Whatever we seem to like in Raider Nation, or we feel guys are trash, they keep around, and guys we think are good, they let walk and go to other teams. So hopefully that changes, man. Hopefully that shit turns around because I'm tired of that shit. But yeah, Andre James is basically plays the center position on roller skates. I never see the dude pointing out anybody. Most centers in the NFL are pointing out linebackers. They're helping their quarterbacks. They're helping their running backs, point out the blitzes, point out coverage. I don't see him do none of that shit. So, yeah, I just never been a fan of Andre James. And however we could get rid of him, I would be totally happy with that. Um, bro, Tyree Wilson. If we move on from Tyree Wilson, we take $14 million in dead cap money. So that's a $6 million cap hit. That's crazy, bro. That's wild to me. Um, we have problems, dude. We have problems. So Daniel Carlson, Brock Bowers, Dylan Parham, AJ Cole. I mean, Jack Jones is another thing. It was, that was a Champ Kelly guy. That was an AP guy. We know who brought Jack in. Do you move on from Jack and try to replace him? in the draft, I mean, that's to me that would be the best bet. Also, we have Michael Mayer. Now, I really want to talk about Michael Mayer earlier, but shit, let's talk about him now, right? I think he's going to be on the trading block this year. I think with the problems, he had last year leaving the team, we don't know what, for whatever reasons and, whatever reasons he had, I hope he's better and all that shit worked out. But we heard all the talk about 12 personnel, 13 personnel. It never came about this year. We ran 12 personnel, 13 personnel, but it wasn't unstoppable like we thought it was going to be. It just never really turned out, good. And the fact that we drafted Brock Bowers with Chip Kelly's system, I don't see us running a lot of 12 personnel. Now, I could be wrong. He could change, he could come in and shock everybody and be like, all right, we're going to use Michael Mayer. We're going to use Brock Bauer and we're going to run 12 personnel and we're going to run the ball down people's throat with seven linemen, 7 people on the line of scrimmage. And we're going to play smash mouth football. I just don't see that happening. I mean, anything could happen. We don't know, what it's going to look like, what the offense is going to look like. Chip Kelly said the same thing Luke Getsy said when he came in. He's got to evaluate the offense and he's going to build the team and the offense of system around the players he has. Well, we don't know who the players are, so we don't know that yet. But Michael Mayer, I mean, could be on the trading block. And again, we missed the boat, right? I mean, we missed the boat again because last year would have been the best time to trade Michael Mayer. He was a second round pick. He had a pretty decent year. It wasn't too bad. There was some okay tight ends in the draft. Brock Bowers being one of them, but none of them to Brock Bowers caliber. This year in the draft, I mean, bro, Tyler Warren. The list goes on and on of crazy, insane tight ends coming out this year in the draft. So you're probably not going to get as much for a Michael Mayer as you would have last year, or possibly a year later, next year, because of the value at tight end. And, there's just a lot of good tight ends that, could be starters in the NFL. So is a team really willing to risk, draft capital trading up for that team? I just don't see it. I don't see too many teams, taking a chance on them. So, um, but it's out there, right? It's definitely trade potential. Uh, fuck, how many shits did I miss? Let's talk about the linebackers replacement. Um, I don't know if we lose Robert Spillane, we're definitely. I think if we lose Divine Diablo, I don't see us trying to replace. Hopefully, I mean, we replace him with Amari Gainer that's already, been on the roster, knows the system a little bit. Like I said, we still have Luke Masterson, so I don't know what we're gonna do at linebacker, but linebackers is one of our deepest positions on the roster. We have more linebackers and corners than we have anything, and the shitty part is none of them are starters. So, um, let's see linebackers replacement. Give me a second. Yeah, I think this is it. Let's go all teams. I haven't got the too many linebackers in the draft, so I do not know. But I know there are some studs. All right, so linebacker, you have Khalil Mack. Let me get this so I can see this shit. All right, so you have Khalil Mack, outside linebacker, defensive end. Um, we have Hassan Reddick, just absolutely ridiculous price, 15 mil. Khalil Mack looking at 19 mil. I don't think we can afford that. Matt Judon, 13 mil. I don't think we can afford that. Preston Smith. Are these all linebackers? Yep. Uh, Preston Smith at a Pitt, looking at 13 mil. Levante David, you're looking at 8.5 mil. Drew Greenlaw. I mean, the man is a beast, but dude, he injured himself, came back in, um, injured, sat out, healed, came back in, and got hurt like in the first or second play of coming back. So I'm out on Dre Greenlaw. I just talked about being, injury prone, are the difference of being, a hard knocks, hard nosed player that's just always around the ball in the pile and gets those unfortunate injuries, or a guy that just gets injured with no contact. And that to me was Dre Greenlaw. Like, so at 8.2 mil, I'm not in on that. Why isn't this pulled up? Shit, my bad. Hold up. Fuck, man. Free agents. All right. All right. Yeah. So there we go. So let me catch back up on this fucking chat. Damn, I'm so far behind in the chat. Oh well, I'll get back to y'all shit in a minute. But somebody said linebackers, so we look at linebackers. Levante David at a Tampa Bay. Man, I would have liked to have had Levante David last year. I thought that would have been a great pickup. Bless you. But at 8.5 mil, bro, is that per year? That's just wild. That's wild. Isaiah Simmons for the Giants, he's at 5 mil. Kazir White, 5 mil. Anthony Nelson, 5 mil. Devontae Campbell. And this is why I'm saying, bro, Robert Spillane at 3.5 mil. I just don't see him taking that when you have EJ Speed, he's better than. Tyrell Dotson, he's better than. Lorenzo Carter, I believe he's better than. Okay, maybe not coverage wise, but when it comes to blitzing, run stopping, better than. So, I mean, God, you look at these prices, bro. Taxi. Um, I just don't see us affording any of these guys, bro. It looks like, I mean, Robert Spillane is way down here at 3.5 mil, and that's just estimated market value for the man. Like, oh, wait, is that market value? Do I got to click on market value? Oh shit. Well, fuck, I don't know. Um, ooh, market value is 10.4 mil annual. That's per year. That's per year. Oh, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. $20 million is market value for Robert Spillane, bro. Um, so God, it's gonna be hard to bring these dudes back. Like it's one hand shit in the other, pretty much type shit. Like, I mean, 20 mil market value. So, well, at least I figured that out. So, all right, what is Greenwall? 8 point shit. Greenslaw. Oh, 6.7 mil. So you could get a Greenslaw for cheaper than a Robert Spillane. Now I just talked about the injuries. That kind of scares me a little bit. But damn. Marcus Davenport, Shaw Robinson, Devon Carter. Rebel, did you see the salary cap went up so everyone got more money? Yes, I did see the salary cap went up. And I do see, like I've been talking about players like Gardner Minshew that we can move off of. And, that's why the title of the video is the salary cap. It's going to be changing not just us, but it's going to change a lot of teams, man. And it's going to go up more next year and the year after. So for those of y'all just pulling up, that's what we talked about in the beginning, the salary cap. Let me know your opinions and your thoughts on the cap. So yeah, if you're looking at linebackers, man, I mean value wise, right? Robert Spillane outplayed every one of these linebackers at 3.5 mil, and these cats were making. I mean, look, Greenslaw made 5 or 8.2 mil last year. Didn't even play, but what? Not even half the season, I don't think. So crazy, crazy numbers. Cleo Mag, Hassan Reddick. You know, I just have right here, bro, in the chest. I have that feeling that Amari Gainer is that dude, and I've had that feeling about many linebackers, many players for the Raiders, and usually that feeling is right, but usually they let them go somewhere else before they become that player that I thought they were going to be. Now, could it be the team they went to helped them be that player, or could it just be they were that player? We'll never know. But linebacker wise, man, I mean, one guy I do see is Bobby Wagner. I mean, Bobby Wagner is, I believe from Pete Carroll, was with Pete Carroll. Let's check out his market value would be. Oh my god, my stomach just hurts. Um, why ain't you working? 7.2 mil. I mean, to me, honestly, I love Robert Spillane. I hope he stays a Raider. But if he's gonna want that money, bro, I just man, when you got a Bobby Wagner at 7.2 mil that can cover, sideline to sideline on the hashes. I mean, I'm leaning that way. He already knows Pete Carroll, what Pete Carroll's trying to do. I mean, if you can bring in Bobby Wagner for fuck, what's his age? Oh, 34. Okay, never mind. Maybe for a year. I mean, if you can bring him in for a year, maybe two. Isaiah Simmons, okay. I like Anthony Nelson too, but damn, at that price. Zach Bond is three. Yeah, what's his shit going up to? He was the same as Robert Spillane's market value, and it is now 9.7. So it is less than Robert Spillane. I've heard lots of Raiders content creators and insiders, you know, say they would like to see Bomb in a Raiders uniform. To me, bro, I'd rather have Robert Spillane. I'd just rather have Robert Spillane. So yeah, those are linebackers. Man, linebacker free agency. We'll break that shit down tonight. I will be back on here in a couple hours. We're coming up on 2 hours, so I'm gonna jump off here in a minute. I hate to leave with 15 people in here, but make sure you like, subscribe, tickle the notification bell. It likes to be turned on, right? So you can be notified when new content is dropped. So make sure you tickle that noti button so you can be notified when I come on live, drop new videos, which I haven't been making videos much lately, but um why is that showing up there? Oh damn, that's what y'all been seeing. So yeah, price wise, we talked about that. The cap did go up. That's going to help us tremendously. But the fact that the cap is going up every year, and if we can move, like I said, some of these contracts to 3 year deals, where most of their guaranteed money is on the back end of the 3 year or 4 year deal, that's going to be huge, huge for us in keeping guys, in house, homegrown talent like Hobbs, like Trayvon Moore, like Malcolm Kuntz. There's a reason why a lot of executives, and upper management believe in drafting guys and developing guys in their system and keeping them around. Like now, a lot do when they get to those big name guys like a Miles Garrett who gonna want 40 million or $30 million a year, or quarterbacks that want 45 mil. Some of those teams move on and they go with the younger rookies. I mean, we've seen the Packers do it with Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, from Aaron Rodgers to Love. They're the best at that shit, right? Bring in a rookie, let him sit for 2 years, and then when your quarterback, that you develop for 3 years gets too big for his britches and wants too much money, you move on and you go with his backup. We need to get in that system. We need to be that team where we're developing guys behind it. And we failed to do that with Derek Carr. We never brought in any quarterback that we could develop behind Derek Carr. And to me, that put us, just behind the eight ball so far of bringing in guys like Chase Garbers. And I mean, the list goes on and on. Now, shout out to Chase. I know he's doing good over there, where he's playing, but we just we never took a chance on a third round or a second round or a fourth round quarterback that we could develop. And maybe they just didn't want the competition with Derek Carr and they believed he was the guy. But you have to be smarter than that. And we've seen how the Packers do it. And to me, that's what we need to get back to. Becton is not leaving. Bro, money talks, bullshit walks. So you pay that guy, he's going somewhere. Um, Becton won a Super Bowl. Think about looking at winners. He's looking at the highest bidder, bro. These guys will sign for money. Yeah, 100% facts. Preach, my guy. Um, I ain't gonna lie. I think the Raiders are gonna prove that they are back. I'm sorry if Philly is gonna blow out the Raiders. Are not ready yet. Nah, bro. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. It's been a long time since we got blown out. Like blown out, blown out. I mean, we have lost some games this year that looked like they were blown out, but the game was a different story if you watch it on film. We were in it until turnovers. We were in it till turnovers ended it, pretty much. Beckham said he wants to come back to Philly. I mean, all those guys are going to say they want to come back, but can they afford them? They're paying a lot of people, and I don't know what Philly's salary cap is, but you better hope it goes up a lot because man, they got some young talent on that team. A lot of young talent on that team, bro. That's gonna want some money, like Quinyon Mitchell. A bunch of your draft picks are want to get paid, and they might not, they might not mess around and wait till their rookie deal's up. That's a bad thing about shit going all in and winning the Super Bowl is after trying to keep your guys in the building after a Super Bowl is hard because all those projected salary prices just skyrocket and go through the roof. Think he's gonna be loyal himself? I mean, you would hope so. You would hope so. But again, money talks, and there's another guy in Trey Smith that's over there, what making crumbs. That's gonna get paid a lot of money also. Uh, bro, these guys are far from the highest bidders. Why do you think Josh Jacobs isn't on the team, and Khalil Mack. I know we are not the highest bidders. We never have. The Khalil Mack. I mean, Khalil Mack. I don't think it had nothing to do with money. That was John Gruden coming in and knowing that the best chance he had to win, was to trade draft capital. And I'm not going to bitch at the Khalil Mack thing. We did get Crosby. But Josh Jacobs was just ignorant, bro. The fact that the man never even picked up the phone, and tried to call Josh Jacobs and see what he wanted or to work it out. It's sometimes, sometimes power is given to the wrong people and overused. Seriously, Robert Spillane will be back. He's not Philly going. Hopefully, sign Robert, bring him back to Philly. I mean, shit. If y'all want to pay him that much money, I just don't see him. I don't see your coach paying him that much money or your GM. Do you think players' moms would be like, "Oh no, stay loyal," instead of getting the cash? um, no, because if you look at T Higgins' mom, didn't he just post on? Didn't she do he? My bad. But didn't T Higgins' mom's just post on X? You cheap bastards or some shit about the Bengals trying to franchise tag them. So man, when grown men let their moms and their fathers and shit get involved in your contract negotiations or your team or even your wife, bro. I mean, they shouldn't be on social media talking shit about teams and players and shit on your team. Like, social media got shit messed up, bro. Pair up Spillane with somebody who has speed and coverage. We do. We do. We have him paired up with Divine Diablo, and that's Divine Diablo's biggest strength is his, hash to hash, sideline to sideline coverage skills. I mean, he was a safety before they moved on the linebacker. In my opinion, that's his best attributes. He can't tackle. He can't stop the run because he can't tackle. Like he gets there, he gets, he can make himself skinny. He can get through the line. He can beat the linemen and shit. He just can't finish, bro. He just can't finish. So we have Speedy Guy and Divine Diablo, and that didn't work. Now, if you put in Amari Gainer, who I believe is a way better tackler, plays way more physical, then yeah, we have a shot. But I don't know what Mari Gainer's 40 time is, but I don't think it's the 4.4 that Divine Diablo runs. That 4.4 speed is crazy. Now, if he could just tackle, bro, I would love to keep Divine. I mean, come on, 6'4", 200 and what, 50, 60 pounds. I mean, Divine Diablo is a freak of nature, but he just can't get it together. Maybe his arms are too short. Maybe he has short arms. Maybe that's it. And they just don't wrap around people. I don't know. But when it comes to tackling, damn, bro. Damn. Robert Spillane fits Philly, bro. He definitely fits that mold for the fans, the way he plays, all that shit. That's the question. What do we pair up with Robert Spillane? That's like I said, we just talked about it, but that's my biggest thing with Robert Spillane is, his coverage ability. And if we go to a 4-3, I wouldn't be mad at that. But then if you go to a 4-3, you have to have shut down corners. We don't have that. You have to have, you know, safeties that are fast, that run 4.2, 4.3 speed that could, come up and make up for our lack of man to man coverage. But again, we played a lot of zones, so we don't really know what we have in man coverage. But I think you need two linebackers on the side of Robert Spillane. Really, in my opinion, I think it makes him better. It makes the team better. He could focus on, if you run a 4-3 and you constantly just blitzing Spillane, then you got five guys, constantly pressuring the quarterback. If you can get pressure with four down linemen, which I don't see why you couldn't with Malcolm Kuntz, Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, and Adam Butler, or even Tyree Wilson. All right, love you. I don't see why we couldn't get couldn't get pressure on the quarterback with those four guys, and then you put Spillane in that aspect, where you're running stunts or having him blitz constantly, moving them around, to the outside, to the middle, and then you got two linebackers that you can have cover your slot receiver, or both tight ends if it's 12 personnel, or your slot receiver and your tight end. I think that makes this defense better. Now, will they do that? I don't know. I don't know, but bro, if we could bring in like dude said, Jihad or Jihad Campbell, good lord, and have him on one side as Will or Sam, and have Amari Gainer, if he takes that next step and proves that he can be that guy, would just be nasty work to me, bro. I'd be there for it. Um, I don't I don't see why we didn't give Gainer more love. It's coaching, bro. I think AP was, and I don't think it was AP. I think it was more of Marvin Lewis and the older heads that were in the building that were like, "Come on, man, he's a rookie. The guy's got to earn it." But you can't say that when Divine Diablo was hurt and there was a hole there, and we filled it with everything possible but Mari Gainer. Like, we tried to plug the hole with Luke Masterson. We tried to plug it with Tommy Eichenberg that was hurt. We tried to plug it with the other Butler. We put everything in the kitchen sink except for Amari Gainer, and I can't tell you why, bro. It's coaching. I mean, maybe maybe there's something in practice that we're not seeing, that he's not giving 110% effort. But oh my god, dude, when you watch the kid's workout, or the man's work, because he's far from a kid, when you watch the man's workout tapes and the shit that he posts on IG, uh, the dude is a freak. He's a freak of nature, and I think they wasted a whole year of the man's talent. Hopefully, this regime doesn't, and they let the kid go. But why is it still up there? Crazy. That's going to be a problem if we don't have linebackers with speed coverage, because guys, what Andy Reid doing the Chargers on third down, they attack our linebackers with speed. I mean, I get it 100%, and a lot of you know a lot of the big plays on offense. Hold on, I can make sure my son got out. Hey, y'all, give me 1 second. Damn, sorry, y'all. I gotta end this. I gotta end this live. I'll be back on. I'll be back on a little bit. My son is stuck in the snow, and I gotta get him out so he can get to work. So, um, I'll be back on probably about 9:10. Cowtown Luda, what's good, my guy? I'm just ending. I will be back on later tonight. I gotta go help somebody get out of the parking lot. So, much love as always. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Make sure you like, subscribe, tickle that notification button, so you know when I'm coming back on live, so we can continue this conversation. But I apologize. Peace out. Much love.